As a dad, I've learned nothing good starts with guess what your son said. So Reddit, what are some funny things you've heard kids say? My wife and 5-year-old were in the car when another car cut them off. My wife hit the brakes, but didn't say anything. My son said, "Mom, you forgot to call him a jackass." I know this is random, but as an Aussie from Australia, I have no idea what you Americans mean when you say someone cut you off in traffic. Can you help a brother from down under solve this blunder? It's when someone driving a kangaroo immediately pulls his kangaroo into your lane within tailgating distance, so you have to pull on the reins to your kangaroo to avoid a kangaroo wreck. Or like, the same thing with an automobile. Whatever, we're flexible. Oh. We call that kangaroo-diddling. I got cut off and yelled at the driver, and my 4-year-old said, "Sometimes mommy says duck." I was riding around with my baby brother one time when somebody cut off my dad and the little guy yelled "arsehole" from the car seat in the back. So proud. My son just turned 2 and is barely saying complete words. On Halloween we took him trick-or-treating, and when someone would hold out their hand with candy, he would inspect it, and if he didn't care for what the candy was, he would look up and say no thank you and then start towards the next house. It was hilarious. Simultaneously polite and rude. I love it. My nephew does this a lot. He even gets angry with his politeness. I said no thank you.
I said good day, sir.
This morning, my wife told my 3-year-old daughter that owls were nocturnal. My daughter responded, "Yes, owls are not turtles." Jesus Christ, mommy, you think I'm an idiot here? Your daughter was probably thinking her mum is an idiot. Condescending looks from toddlers are the worst. My son when he was 6, "Dad, can we get a cat?" Me, "Your mom is allergic to cats, so no." My son, "When mom dies can we get a cat?" Me, "Sure." It's all fun and games until he murders your wife to get that cat. I was on the phone with my wife discussing dinner plans, and my 7-year-old informed us that salad is ruining my life. Salad, always destroying lives and breaking up families. So a friend has a 4-year-old, and when he was 2 to 3 we were both trying to teach him about gender, boy vs girl. We were asking him, "Are you a boy or a girl?" And he got very quiet, thought for a full minute, then in a very confident voice, "I am a man." But does he even lift? Not necessarily funny but creepy. I once got home from work, and my 3-year-old daughter climbs on my lap and whispers in my ear, "I want to eat your face. I want to wear your skin." While waiting in line to get her picture taken with Santa, I was giving my 2-year-old daughter pieces of popcorn one at a time as a snack. I must have been a little slow with my delivery, and she shouted, "More popcorn, daddy," at the top of her lungs. It was awesome. My cousin's daughter's response to "I love you" was "I love me too" for the longest time. Kids, 4 and 3, and I sitting around putting Thomas the Train pieces together. Our track was almost complete, but we ended up with 2 female pieces where the track should join. My daughter, the oldest, says, "We need a double duck piece, dad." I had to just walk away. Overheard in a first grade classroom, "Well, when my mom and dad practice wrestling I get to eat a whole bowl of ice cream and watch whatever movie I want." That was a fun one. A lot of my son's stories start with, "When mommy and daddy were having privacy." When I was 4, I sat in a box in the kitchen and picked up a biscuit tin lid, and proceeded to pretend to drive. I looked at my mother and proclaimed, "Look mummy, I'm you," then screamed beep beep, ducking wanker. Also my very first word was shut, copied right after my dad was having a hard time with some papers. My 4-year-old son was in the bathroom with the door closed. I knocked and said, "What's going on in there?" His reply, "Nothing, it's just me and my penis." Story of my life. My 4th grade son told me he heard a joke at school and didn't get it. He is in middle, so there are up to 8th graders there. He asked in front of a new buddy of mine. I asked him to tell the joke. "What comes after 69? I said, 70. He said, "No, mouthwash." My 4-year-old niece was asleep on the sofa. I picked her up to take her up to her bed. Just as I lifted my foot up onto the first step, she lifted her head from my shoulder, shouted in a really deep voice, "I didn't think it was possible for a 4-year-old girl to make this noise. Prepare to die," and then started clawing, biting at my face. Then laughed manically, jumped out of my arms and ran up to bed. I still WTF about it now. Not my son, but when I was a little kid, I had to pee in a cup at the doctor's office. It was my first time doing it, so my mom helped me. After I peed into it, I said to her, "I don't have to drink it, do I?" "No, the doctor's gonna drink it, honey." Many years ago, my dad made a Bill Clinton joke at the dinner table. My little sister was around 8 years old at the time, my brother 13 and me 15. The joke included the word blowjob. My little sis goes, "What's a blowjob? We're German." The English word blow sounds like our word blau, which means blue. Insert Arrested Development reference here. Language is a weird thing. You guys take our words for interesting things like doppelganger and zeitgeist. We adopt blowjob and fashion. I suspect MTV may have something to do with this. But I digress. My parents, being the open-minded we don't like to lie to our kids people that they are, proceed to explain what a blowjob is to my little sister. She still doesn't get the joke, as her interest in politics is that of a normal 8-year-old. She does, however, proceed to ask each of us if we've ever given anyone a blowjob. She apparently also asked people at school. I do not envy my parents that conversation with the teachers. The other day I got stung by a W. I wasn't punching it. I was just pushing it with my fist. If you kill me, I'm going to not do anything with you. I loved you. I can hold my breath in my neck, watch. I shouldn't smell underwater. Explaining what bad words are. Like shut. Or, balls. Or, duck. When asked why balls is bad. You know, like your butt cheeks. They call them balls. Do you speak cat, sissy? I hope I never shark anyone. Except for strangers. On a Thanksgiving assignment, I am thankful for rainbows and my sister is 14. Did they kill you? Did they? You dead? I'm following my shadow. These have been collected over the years from my baby sister. She's a hoot. My mother's favorite, while forcing her to go to preschool. Sob, you're ruining my life. Took my son and daughter swimming. Went into the family change room, went into a stall, and proceeded to change them, then myself. While I was as naked as the day I was born, my 3-year-old daughter says in her loudest voice, "Daddy, why is your penis so big?" So many levels of wrong. When my friend was little, she heard a story at a friend's house about sex and asked her dad what it was. He explained it was something a boy and a girl do when they love each other very much. They get home, and she sits down at the table and goes, "Mommy, can dad and I have sex?" I was belittling my son, who was 16 or so at the time, for spending his entire summer vacation plopped down on the couch. When I suggested he go outside and find something to do, he said, "But it's dangerous outside. That's where World War II happened." Can't really argue with that logic. On the potty seat, my poop is coming. It's packing its suitcase. When my nephew was in kindergarten, 6 or 7 years old, he pulled his pants pockets inside out and told the teacher to kiss the rabbit between the ears. I swear I have no idea where he learned this. I am 26 and am going to try this tonight. Thank your nephew. My 5-year-old son had just finished his swimming lesson and approached my wife, who was talking to one of the other moms. "Why are you talking to her? I thought you said she's a jerk." Wife mortified, with no idea why he said that. She hadn't criticized any of the other moms in any way. A few months back, my wife showed a picture of herself to our 3-year-old daughter. In the picture, my wife is about 7 years old. "Do you know who this is?" Daughter gasps, "That's me when I'm bigger." I love that she thought this was actually possible. My dad, who looks after my son, told me that my dad, went into the playroom and said, "Well, son of monkey boy, it's very messy in here." And my boy said, "Well, Granddad, we'd better clear these ducking toys up." My boy is 3.5. I fail at being a parent. I have a daughter who is just a few weeks shy of her second birthday. Her language skills are already pretty good and you get some interesting sentences out of her. A few weeks ago I was drying myself off after having my morning shower and heard her push the bathroom door open. She looked up and said, "Ooh wop, daddy's gotta tell." I now lock the bathroom door when showering.